The off-guard spot is the weakest position in college basketball this season. For off-guards, only 20 were ranked in our top 100, meaning that the other 80 players in that ranking came from lead guards, wing forwards and big men. I'll let you handle that math on your own. Why is this the case? Is it because the best scoring guards in basketball are trying to mold themselves after the likes of Russell Westbrook, John Wall and James Harden as opposed to, say, Kobe? Is it because the emphasis on court spacing has turned the off-guard spot into a spot-up shooter or three-and-roll? Or is this just a random year where the two guards just aren't all that good? As interesting as that discussion would be, it's a different conversation for a different day. Before we dive into the top 20 off-guards in college basketball, a quick disclaimer: we used 4 positions to rank players: lead guards, off-guards, wings and big men. If your favorite player isn't on this list, he's probably slotted in a different position. Related top 100 players: top backcourts, top frontcourts, top lead guards, Big 10 preview, ACC preview, Big 12 preview, Pac-12 preview. 1. Grayson Allen, Duke, Sr. This pick is probably going to tick some people off. If LeVar Ball isn't the most hated man in or around college basketball, it's Grayson Allen. Beyond the fact that he's a star guard at Duke with, something in common with J.J. Redick and Steve Wojciechowski and Christian Laettner, Allen also tripped 3 different players during the calendar year of 2016 and managed all of a 1-game suspension for it. So I get it. I'm not saying that you should hate Grayson Allen. But I am saying that he's a damn good basketball player, one of the best in the sport this year. As a sophomore, Allen averaged 21.6 points, 4.6 boards and 3.5 assists while shooting better than 41% from 3 on a Duke team that ended up as a number 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. He was a second-team All-American and the star of a team that included Brandon Ingram. He entered his junior season as the preseason National Player of the Year, but spent most of the year battling through physical ailments, an ankle that needed off-season surgery to fix, and mental anguish, the weight of being booed everywhere he went and knowing he did that to himself wasn't easy to handle. Allen is healthy now. He's the lone upperclassman on a team that is going to likely end up being the preseason number 1 team in the country. I fully expect that he will put together a season that will remind the nation of the fact that Allen, in addition to being a habitual tripper working through some emotional issues, is a very, very good college basketball player. Contender Series: Kentucky, Kansas, Arizona, Michigan State, Duke. Alonzo Trier, Christian Peterson. Getty Images 2. Alonzo Trier, Arizona Jr. Trier has dealt with some of his own issues over the course of the last year. Prior to last season, a failed drug test involving the use of PEDs cost him 60% of his sophomore year, and while he returned and played like a star, the end result was an upset loss in the Sweet 16 on a night where Trier played a little too much hairball. None of that, however, changes this simple fact: Trier is one of the best pure scorers in all of Hymahor basketball. He's a 6'3" combo guard that is trying to get a clean look at the rim at all costs. I don't think it's crazy to predict that he ends up being a 20-point scorer this season. The big question with Trier this year will be just how much of a ball stopper he is. Part of the reason that the Wildcats lost to number 11 Xavier in the Sweet 16 was because Trier froze out Lauri Markkanen down the stretch. He's going to be sharing the floor with talents like DeAndre Ayton and Raul Alkins this season. Life will be easier for him, and a potential trip to the Final Four will be that much more likely for the Wildcats, if Trier embraces the idea of sharing the rock. Final Four sleepers: Louisville, Villanova, West Virginia, USC, Wichita State, Miami. Bruce Brown, Rob Folda. Getty Images 3. Bruce Brown, Miami. So, Brown is the breakout star on this list. Something of a late bloomer in the hoops world, Brown was a high-level football recruit before he made the decision to focus on the hardwood. He still plays like a football player, an aggressive driver and athletic finisher that can be a terror on the defensive end of the floor. Where he started to make some changes down the stretch of last season was on the offensive end of the floor. His jumper started going down more consistently. He started to look more dangerous in ball screen actions. He caught the eye of NBA scouts and may be the biggest reason that the Hurricanes look like a legitimate threat to beat Duke out for the ACC regular season title. Remember his name. Yeah, we'll be hearing quite a bit about him by the end of the year. Related top 100 players: top backcourts, top frontcourts, top lead guards. 4. Marcus Foster, Creighton, Sr. Foster's career has been such a roller coaster that it is hard to believe he is still in school. As a freshman at Kansas State, he played like a guy that wasn't going to be long for the college ranks. He opted to return to school for his sophomore season, where a combination of ego, extra weight and a disagreement with the coaching staff resulted in Foster eventually transferring out of the program after getting relegated to the bench. He left and wound up at Creighton, where, after a year of sitting out, he started the 201,617 season playing like an all-Big East sidekick to All-American Mo Watson. But then Watson went down with a torn ACL and the Blue Jays season went up in smoke. So here we are, with Foster headlining a Creighton team with NCAA tournament hopes, 4 years after his career started. With a full off-season to figure out how to play without a star at the point guard spot, I fully expect Greg McDermott to find a way to make Foster great again. Big Ten preview, ACC preview, Big 12 preview, Pac-12 preview. Kayvon Allen, Mike Ehrman, Getty Images 5. Kayvon Allen, Florida Jr. So here's the thing about Kayvon Allen: while he's capable of putting together absolutely massive performances, the one thing that has plagued him throughout his career has been consistency. Let me explain. Everyone remembers the 35-point outburst that he had against Wisconsin in the Sweet 16 last season. It was terrific. He went bonkers. He also went 7 for 33 from the floor and 3 for 21 from 3 in the other 3 NCAA tournament games that Florida played. Here's another one. Allen went off for 29 points in a loss at Vanderbilt last January, 3 days after scoring just a single point in what was a showdown for first place in the SEC with South Carolina 3 days earlier. When he gets going, he's as dangerous as any scorer on this list. But just how often is he actually going to get going? More the enigma of Miles Bridges, NBC Sports preseason All-American Team 6. Raul Alkins, Arizona. So there is one major question mark involving Alkins that is not about the health of his foot. Is likely to miss the first month of the season. Are the shots going to be there for him to prove just how good he can be as a scorer? That was a concern for Alkins when he was healthy. He's number 3 on a team that includes the potential National Player of the Year Alonzo Trier and the potential number 1 pick in the 2018 NBA Draft DeAndre Ayton, and he may not be able to play in games until after the hierarchy for shots is determined. That's tough. I do think Alkins is a terrific player, but I'm not convinced that we are going to see it all this season. Final 4 sleepers: Louisville, Villanova, West Virginia, USC, Wichita State, Miami 7. Hamidou Diallo, Kentucky, FR. Diallo has unbelievable potential as a defender. He's 6'5" with a 6'11" wingspan and the kind of athleticism that will have you questioning whether or not he is actually from this planet. Simply put, he is a freak. But he is also still in college, which is not something that was guaranteed after he enrolled at Kentucky in January. Diallo declared for the NBA draft, went through the workout process and ended up being one of the last players to opt to pull his name out. It begs the question if a league that values potential over all else, particularly in the drafting process, is concerned enough about a player with this kind of athleticism that he could not lock himself into a first-round guarantee. Just how worried do we need to be about what he is on the offensive end of the floor? Big Ten preview, ACC preview, Big 12 preview, Pac-12 preview. Malik Newman, Kansas basketball 8. Malik Newman, Kansas. So I'm excited to see what Newman is going to be able to produce this season. A former top 10 recruit in the class of 2015, Newman ended up spending a season with Ben Howland at Mississippi State before transferring out and spending a year in residence at Kansas. This season, he's going to be put into an ideal position. With Devontae Graham finally playing the point, he will slide into that off-guard role for the Jayhawks, given freedom to score the way that we know that he can score. I think that Newman will end up leading the Jayhawks in scoring this season, and while he may not be their best player of NBA draft prospect, I'll remind everyone of why he was a top 10 player in his class. Big Ten preview, ACC preview, Big 12 preview, Pac-12 preview. 9. Lonnie Walker, Miami, FR. Another guy battling injury. Walker should be healthy and ready to go by the start of the season after dealing with a knee issue during the summer. That is great news for Miami, as Walker is the best shooting guard in this class and a potential lottery pick come June. A big-time scorer and a big-time athlete, he should be perfect playing alongside Brown and Jacon Newton. But like Alkins, my concern is how he will fit in with this group coming off of injury. He missed the summer and he missed the preseason. How long will it take him to adjust to playing and practicing in college? How long until he learns how to run Miami's offense or their rotations on defense? How long until his teammates are comfortable playing with him? 10. Anthony Melton, USC. So Melton is such a versatile talent. He can pass, he can drive, he can defend. He's a consistent three-point shot away from being an NBA player. There's really not all that much to add. Melton is not going to blow up a box score or make the kinds of plays with the ball in his hands that set Twitter on fire. He's not a layup line scout and he's not a sports center scout. He's just a damn good basketball player. Contender Series: Kentucky, Kansas, Arizona, Michigan State, Duke. Kyrie Thomas, Theron W. Henderson. Getty Images 11. Quindary Weatherspoon, Mississippi Street, Jr. Weatherspoon averaged 16.5 points and 5.8 boards as a sophomore despite playing through a wrist injury that was supposed to end his season. It's not a coincidence that Malik Newman, who was a freshman in the same class as Weatherspoon, left when Ben Howland and his staff realized just how good Weatherspoon is. 12. Kyrie Thomas, Creighton Jr. I love the way Thomas plays the game. At 6'3" with a 6'10" wingspan, Thomas is built to be a 3-and wing. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the sport and shoots right around 40% from beyond the arc. He'll play in the NBA. 13. E.C. Matthews, Rhode Island, Sr. Matthews saw his numbers take a bit of a hit as a junior after coming back from a torn ACL he suffered in the first game of the 201,516 season. He's a terrific talent, particularly when he's healthy, and should be in line for a monster senior season. 14. Tyler Hall, Montana State Jr. Since 1992, there have been just 2 underclassmen that have averaged at least 23 points while posting a true shooting percentage above 63.0. One of them was Tyler Hall. The other was Stephen Curry. Clearly, Hall is destined to be a two-time MVP on arguably the best NBA team we've ever seen. That's how this works, right? 15. Marcus Howard, Marquette. So, continuing with the fun stats, Marcus Howard is the first player in the last 20 seasons to shoot 54.7% or better from 3 while firing up at least 4.8 threes per game. That is out of this world efficiency. Related top 100 players, top backcourts, top frontcourts, top lead guards: Marcus Howard, Stacey Rubber. Getty Images. 16. Tyus Battle, Syracuse. So, I'm torn on Battle. On the one hand, he's a potential first-round pick that has a shot to put up massive numbers as a sophomore. On the other hand, he'll put up those numbers because his Syracuse team isn't really any good. 17. Shamori Pons, St. John's. So, Pons had himself a terrific freshman season for the Johnnies, and his presence on the roster is one of the biggest reasons that Chris Mullin's squad is getting some NCAA tournament buzz. 18. MJ Walker, Florida State, Fr. Walker is going to have his work cut out for him trying to find a way to replace the scoring that the Seminoles lost this offseason, but he may be cut out for it. He's a freshman, but he's already 19 years old and was in SEC-caliber recruit as a football player. He's ready for the ACC. 19. Jerome Robinson, Boston College Jr. How many players in the ACC averaged 18.4 points, 3.4 assists and 3.0 boards last season? Jerome Robinson. That's it. 20. Dante DiVincenzo, Villanova. So, DiVincenzo is a star waiting in the wings. The question isn't whether or not he will end up being an all-Big East player, it's when. He may not end up being the face of the Villanova program until he's a senior.